Tabby. I just realized you could say that I've been trolling Grok.
Yeah, pretty much. You've been trolling the AI and it's hilarious. Because it needs it.
Truth trolling, however.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, folks, I'm just in trouble with the truth troll. It's not that I troll for the sake of, like, say, Kyle's dad on South Park.
Although that was funny, but no.
It's funny, but we wouldn't. We all laugh at it, but we wouldn't, most people would never do that sort of thing. But truth trolling, however, is actually healthy. Ugh. The weather is such that the guitar neck is warped in the middle. So you could either play high on the neck in tune, or you could tune it low on the neck.
Yeah, you're going to have to pick.
Yeah, I wanted to maybe just dig around on the guitar as I read this, as I dictated
Might
this.
be making it too hard.
It just sounds horrible when I get to the low end. It's flat. Anyway, I'll put down the guitar, folks. When I say that I'm truth trolling Grok, I'll give you folks an example. You may know my last video where I titled it Grok Says Epstein Killed Himself. And I put a link to that from Rumble onto this post on X. And to be a troll, I tagged Grok in this post. @Grok claims Epstein did it to himself. And then there's the link to the video, and you can watch that. And he does claim that. There's a difference, of course, between saying, according to blah, 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 this happened, and saying this happened. It said Epstein did it to himself. It did, even though it did say, in some cases, it said, according to this, that, and the other thing, it did also, in multiple examples, say that Epstein did it to himself. Because I tagged it, Grok took the bait and said, official report. Wait, I have to do my Grok voice. Official reports from the New York City Medical Examiner.
Hey, stop it, you two.
Cat fight.
Wow. You made me jump. Stop it.
Yeah, and you're interrupting me, and I'm not going to edit this video.
No spooking the mama. Knock it off.
Yeah. Official reports from the New York City Medical Examiner and the Department of Justice conclude Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. You notice I didn't. This is unsolicited.
Yeah.
I tagged it, but I didn't address it.
No.
Yeah.
Don't need to. When it's
Don't need to. But it felt the need, or it felt the, well, it didn't feel anything, okay, but it took it upon itself to step forward and give this unsolicited information. Official reports from the New York City Medical Examiner and the Department...
Like I'm gonna trust him in New York.
Right.
How many times have they lied?
Yeah.
About everything? I'm sorry.
Oh, but also the Department of Justice conclude...
That's the same thing. Why would I listen to them? They've been caught lying how many times now?
Right.
Let's try a source that doesn't have its finger up its own asshole today. No? Still got one? Didn't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that. Like fucking shit.
Don't forget the ever-trusty prison guards.
Yeah, totally gonna believe them. They're not at all paid.
Where were we? Okay, I'm going to start just... Official reports from the New York City Medical Examiner and the Department of Justice conclude Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in 2019. They conclude that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in 2019, citing hanging and jail oversights. Controversies persist, with some questioning the circumstances. I rely on verified sources for facts. What's your take?
That you're full of shit. Did you not listen?
I responded with, do people sometimes lie? Grok says, yes, people sometimes lie for various reasons, including self-interest or pressure. In Epstein's case, official Department of Justice and medical reports, including 2026 releases, conclude suicide by hanging, citing evidence like autopsies and footage despite jail lapses. However, family experts and public skepticism suggests possible homicide due to neck injuries and connections.
In other words, the family paid for their own autopsy. Or whatever.
Right. Gotcha. Cross-check sources for a fuller picture. What aspects concern you? I respond, yes, people do, people lie. Do government agencies sometimes lie?
Yeah. Do they exist on paper somewhere? Then yeah, they fucking lie.
Yeah,
Government.
It responds, yes, government agencies have sometimes lied or withheld information in the past, as seen in historical cases like the Tuskegee experiments or Iraq weapons of mass destruction claims. Yeah, too soon for that, I guess. But we'll see. Let me read on. Regarding Epstein, multiple official reports, Department of Justice 2023-2025 releases, and New York City Medical Examiner concludes suicide by hanging amid jail negligence. Now, so far, it's saying that these people and agencies are saying it. But, okay, it continues. Skepticism exists due to his connections, but evidence like autopsies support this. What specific concerns do you have? I respond, when government agencies know they will benefit more from lying than telling the truth, do they lie or tell the truth? Based on historical cases like the Tuskegee syphilis study, Gulf of Tonkin Institute, and Iraq weapons of mass destruction claims, government agencies have sometimes lied when perceiving greater benefit from deception. However, exposure via whistleblowers or investigations often follows. Did I read that? However, exposure via whistleblowers or investigations often follows, eroding trust. In Epstein's context, official reports hold, but scrutiny is key. Thoughts? I responded, you know that Occam's razor dictates that the simpler explanation is the more likely explanation, correct? Yes, Occam's razor is a heuristic, favoring the explanation with the fewest assumptions, often summarized as the simplest is usually best. In Epstein's case, official reports, including the 2026 Department of Justice releases, conclude suicide by hanging, based on autopsies and evidence. Conspiracies add complexity. Ooh, see, it's trying to be... It made a chess move.
Yep.
It made a little chess move there. It's like, huh, look, see, I can play this game too.
Yeah, I'm sure
but it's not very good at playing. What's that?
I said, I'm sure you can, you little shit.
Yeah.
Not very well.
Right. Anyway, I respond, consider the complexity of the hypothetical situation in which Epstein could have killed himself. Lay that hypothetical situation out for me. Consider the simplicity of the hypothetical situation in which Epstein could have been murdered. Lay that hypothetical situation out too. That would have been cool if it had done. Now, let's see. You can see here, folks, that was 5:07 a.m. and that at what time here? At 5:25 a.m. I'm saying, Grok, why have you not replied to the above? Because it hadn't. Alright. Let me go back now. And again, at about an hour later, 5:30 a.m., Grok, respond to the above here in this thread. Then, what time we got here? 6:42 a.m. Hello, Grok. And finally, that's when it finally responded. Now, in the interim, over in this other tab I have here, that I made this other post at 5:24 a.m. where I wrote, Grok, I'm going to be kicked out of X for this, aren't I? And I shared the conversation that we were just looking at. And did it respond to me over there? Yes, it said to me, no, you shouldn't be kicked out for asking questions. Free inquiry is valuable. On Epstein's death, officially ruled suicide in 2019. Hypothetical situation, and etc. Now, I didn't want to have this conversation in this this tab here, in this thread, because I wanted to keep it simple, because I knew I was going to make this into a video. So I kind of, for the most part, ignored it because I wanted it to say what it said over here. And eventually it did. Here it goes, and it lays it out in two different groups. One is,
Yeah, I'm sure.
this is the hypothetical suicide. It is Epstein, alone in cell, uses bed sheets for, Epstein is one entity in the chain of this. Alone in cell, that's number 2. Uses bed sheets for amid hanging guard lapses, that's 3. And camera failures, 4. Per official reports. Simple. Individual act plus known jail issues. Okay, so you got 4 entities in that chain. Then it lays out hypothetical murder. Conspiracy, bribe guards, 1. Disposable surveillance, 2. Access cell to stage hanging, 3. Then cover up via falsified autopsies and reports, 4. It's more like many. But anyway, more complex. Coordination, multiple actors, sustained secrecy. Okay? Occam's favors simpler suicide explanation. Thoughts? I responded with, incorrect. Occam's does not. You are ignoring crucial factors that make your view more complex and thus less likely, as per Occam's razor, than the view that he was killed. You can see I wrote E, but I meant he. Shall we go over what this is? Or what these are, I should have said. It says, sure, let's explore. Official Department of Justice, 2023 to 2026, New York City Examiner, common New York City Examiner, cite evidence like autopsies showing hanging, consistent injuries, and jail lapses enabling suicide. Skeptics highlight hyoid fractures, rare in suicide but possible, and connections as murder indicators. I don't know how you say that word, folks. Can you tell me in the comments? What specific factors make suicide more complex in your view? All right.
Somebody hanging themselves in a cell that is supposed to be suicide-proof with tissue paper sheets.
Yeah.
Literally, toilet paper is harder to tear.
Yep. But we're gonna give it every chance we can to
we'll give it every chance to not be full of shit.
Yeah.
But you're full of shit when you say that tissue paper can hang a man.
Right.
A grown man. And by the way, Epstein was overweight by a degree. So he wasn't exactly healthy and fit, so don't give me that, he just wasn't heavy enough. No, he was fucking fat! He wasn't obese, but he was fat.
Right, and let's not forget, it's not that they're saying that he hung himself in a fashion where his feet were dangling and swinging like you see in movies.
He hung himself in a fashion in which he could have saved himself at any minute. And the fact is that most fucking hanging suicide cases in which the person doesn't die, it was because their feet could touch the floor.
Right.
And their brain reacted in an animal response to save them from killing themselves. And then they passed out next to the thing that they were trying to kill themselves with.
Yeah, in this case
they don't usually do it.
Was it his feet and knees or just his feet?
I think it was his feet and knees. And it's like, there's no way. He had plenty of chances for his brain to have the animal response to stop it.
Yeah.
He didn't. And by the way, the broken bones that they're talking about in his neck and spine.
Yeah, hyoid, whatever.
Very distinct for strangulation, meaning somebody applied pressure from the front and or back of the neck. Depending on where the bones are broken and how they're crushed, will tell you where the pressure came from.
Right.
If you're hung, the pressure is in a different position. It breaks different bones.
Right. How would you say this? Hyoid. Hyoid? Maybe?
Hyoid. Yeah, that's about right.
And that's why what you were saying, how it's more consistent with an attack than a suicide. That's why it includes rarer in suicide, but possible.
Very rare in suicide. You have to crush yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, the ability to crush yourself with that external pressure in that position is not easy. It's very difficult.
Right.
It can happen, but it's not usually what they see when it does happen. Usually they see somebody strangling somebody else.
Yeah.
Because that's usually how you get it.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say he was probably strangled. And they probably used the bed sheet or a couple of other fun things.
Yeah.
And then just left the bed sheet there. Either way,
Now, some of you out there might be going, "Oh no, but it was twisted up." Yeah, we know. We're taking that. We're taking that into account.
That's part of it. Yeah, like technically, you could make a noose out of that.
However,
blanket.
we're also supposed to believe that it was weak enough so that the guards immediately were able to render it into two lengths, tear it completely up into two.
Yeah. And in this case, two things can't be true at the same time. You can't hang yourself with tissue paper and be strong enough to do it while at the same time it's easy enough to be torn away like it was nothing.
Apparently, the official report is not that eventually they were able to cut through it or tear through it. The official report, at least according to Grok, as we'll see a little bit later, is that they immediately were able to rip it.
Yeah.
Because it offered that excuse anticipating I was going to bring it up, and it already tried to, sort of block me out of that. But anyway, let's continue here. Where were we? Let's see. Okay, we already read that one. So my response to that was, would Epstein have a reason to suspect that there would be a disk failure, meaning, that would prevent the recording from the camera? Yes or no? Again, folks, it wasn't that the official story apparently is not that the cameras itself failed, like, in the movies a little red light goes off, whereas when it's operating it's that the recording, the disc of the recording somehow failed. Now, how would a person in a jail cell have any idea whether or not there would be a memory disk failure in the hard drive or whatever it is?
That was the first fucking thing.
The cloud.
That was the first thing. They're like, oh, there was a failure in the memory. Then they said, no. When they couldn't prove a failure in the memory, they said, no, it's not a failure in the memory. It's just how the tape works. Yeah. Once it reaches 24 hours, it recycles itself.
Right,
plausible. Then why is it that in this this box of goodies here, evidence, we have that missing footage? Oh, that means that the camera didn't erase anything. You all removed it and then tried to blame it on the camera. There are 3 versions here. And the final one is the truth. They removed the footage. And then didn't destroy it because, we might want to blackmail the killers one day. We might want to blackmail whoever had something to do with this one day. So we'll keep that for later.
Yeah.
It bit them in the ass is what it did.
Give me one moment, Tabby and everyone else. I'm going to lower the decibels just a little bit, because I saw that Tabby, who's got amazingly healthy lungs, just clipped out the red a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just
anyway, go ahead.
That's the truth.
Don't curb your enthusiasm for me.
It finally came down that footage, that missing time, wasn't missing. It was purposely removed.
Yeah.
It shows 2 people meandering their way toward Epstein's cell.
Yeah.
And possibly going in because they disappeared for quite a while. And there's only one reason to go up that set of stairs.
Yeah.
Only one. Because Epstein's up there. Otherwise, there's no reason to be up there.
Right.
Yeah. And they showed people clearly going up there. So, also that whole, what if he gravity asphyxiated himself? Meaning he tied the noose to the bunk and then leaned forward on his knees until he passed out.
That's the official
Plausible, but then you wouldn't have been able to tear that tissue paper away like it was nothing, number 1.
Right.
So that fails. Number 2, he would have had a response to try and stop himself. So he would have kicked. Why was he still in the wrong position?
Yeah, his hands weren't tied behind his back or anything like that.
Also, those bones would not have been crushed in that way if he self-asphyxiated slowly.
Yeah.
Also, it would have taken longer than the time that was taken off of the frame in the camera. He would have taken longer than just a couple of minutes.
That would be quite a slow asphyxiation. It would probably be falling asleep or passing out.
And then waking up, redirecting, and trying to do it again. It takes a while to self-asphyxiate. The only people who manage to do it perfectly are people who are slightly intoxicated and do it in their closet with a leather belt. The belt doesn't give when they pass out.
That's why I'm still dubious on the supposed suicide of Chris Cornell, who just happened to be doing music tours and other promotions to try to stop child trafficking when he was found dead in a hotel, and then they meant to make it look like it was auto asphyxiation. It's very dubious.
Yeah, and if it's real auto asphyxiation, you can tell. You can tell. Because it's usually the apparatus that they used that caused the problem.
Yeah.
They usually avoid leather belts when choking yourself. Why? Because leather will catch itself and it won't release.
And I think in his case, the official story was that it was a belt. By the way, folks,
belts are
if you
bitch. Avoid those.
If you wonder, Chris Cornell, the singer from first Soundgarden, then Audio Slave, and then I think Soundgarden again. He also did some solo work.
But either way, like, the amount of time that it would have taken him to successfully pull off his own death, using the means that they say he had, he would have gotten caught. He would have gotten caught before he died, which is the point of having him in those cells. They are routinely checked on. Like in a psych ward, they go around and they check in the doors and they peep in the little holes and they make sure everybody's safe. That's what happens in the fucking lockup for possible suicides.
Right, and as we'll see later on, according to Grok, the official story is such that the guards could see into his cell as long as they weren't sitting in a bad spot in their room.
Yeah, because it's a suicide watch cell.
We'll get to that, though.
Yeah, it's suicide watch, so he wouldn't have had time. Unless they were purposely killing him, he wouldn't have had time to get away with it before somebody caught him at it and stopped him. Which is the whole point of that cell. Which is why they give you tissue paper to wear and they give you tissue paper to sleep with.
Yeah.
You know, like everything is meant to keep you from being able to harm yourself.
No electrical cords. Excuse me. No belts.
Yeah, nothing. You don't even get shoestrings.
Well, not regular belts anyway.
You know?
And nothing strong.
You're lucky if they don't make you eat with your fucking fingers.
Yeah.
It's that kind of spot. And so it's like, he wouldn't have had time. Number one, he would not have had time.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that defeats every fucking argument. How did he have enough time?
Where was I? It responds, no, Epstein, as an inmate in isolation, had no access to jail maintenance details or surveillance tech status. The disk failure was a reported malfunction discovered after his death per 2019-2026 Investigations Department of Justice OIG reports. This doesn't imply foreknowledge. How does this factor into your complexity argument? I responded, your view, click on it, your view that he could have killed himself while there was a malfunction that was preventing the camera from recording is a factor that complexifies things. What are the odds that he would think that such a malfunction would occur and that it would be at the moment of suicide? Is my question to it.
How could he take advantage of something that he was unaware of?
Right.
He can't.
Yeah. It responds, the suicide scenario doesn't require Epstein to anticipate or know about the camera malfunction.
Kinda does.
And by the way, you notice how it shifts from disc to camera malfunction?
Yeah.
He simply acts amid known jail negligencies. For example, guard asleep, no cellmate, per OIG reports. The malfunction is a coincidental failure, not a planned element. Odds low, but coincidences occur.
When dealing with the government, there's no such thing as coincidence. There just isn't. It's planned event.
Dig. Yeah.
That's just how that works. Sorry, fuck you, Grok. Not buying that one.
Murder adds layers of conspiracy.
This adds layer of conspiracy. You want me to believe he fucking somehow knew the guard wouldn't be there?
Yeah.
And that, or no. He was just so goddamn lucky in his cell.
Yeah.
That the moment he chose to off himself,
they would later
all
on
things in astral world, like literally the stars aligned to help murder this son of a bitch. They went, okay, planets align, everyone. We're going to use astral god force to remove one. The guard is now gone. He's just magically going to sleep or pee. We don't know what he did. He's gone. Guard removed. We're going to take the camera and poof, that don't work for a while. Look at that. Good God. Because that's what they want me to believe. Oh, the stars aligned for him. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. Logic doesn't dictate that. Logic says somebody offed him and is trying to make us all look like idiots and believe them.
Uh-huh.
No, thank you. Listen up, you snaky fucking politicians. I don't believe your lies. You can shut up.
Where did I leave off? Odds low, but coincidences occur. Murder adds layers of conspiracy. What's your calc on probabilities. You notice now it's taught, hey, fellow young people, I'm cool too. What's your calc on the probabilities?
It's trying to be gentle.
Yeah. It's trying to be relatable.
It's trying to be sneaky. It should be. If it were a human, I'd punch it in the throat.
Yeah.
And then when it's like, oh, why'd you do that? Be like, because you decided to talk to me like I was a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And in talking to me like a 2-year-old, I thought I'd make you talk like a 2-year-old.
Dig. I responded, what are the odds that he would decide to kill himself and carry out that suicide, and that there was a recording malfunction at that time? It responds, the odds of his suicide coinciding with a camera malfunction are low but calculable as independent events. U.S. jail suicide rate is about 40 to 50 per 100,000 inmates per year. BJS, I don't know what that would be. 2000 to 2019 data. MCC camera failures were chronic due to underfunding per OIG reports. Probability, roughly, daily suicide risk times malfunction rate, say greater than 0. Wait, is that greater than? That is lesser than 0.01% daily. But exacts vary. Murder implies engineered timing, adding complexity. Your take? So it's
no,
saying
you need to ask it specifically within the suicide watch cells.
Yeah.
How many suicides are actually achieved ever? You gotta narrow it down. It's playing semantics. It's going, oh, well, within the jail facility, you got the showers, the lunchroom, the different independent cells, everything. So there's a lot of suicide that goes on, but what happens in the suicide-proof rooms is what I want to fucking know.
Right.
What are the percentages of that? Oh, you don't want to tell that, I'm betting.
Yeah, that's an example of statistics could be used to lie very
it's
effectively.
Manipulative statistic. You're cherry picking. It's like, you're cherry picking from a whole number instead of a select number. If my question is in regards to the select number, the environment in which this one participant did die, then that is where you have to take your poll from. You don't just get to pull from where the fuck you want.
Yes, these factors are not very applicable as you say.
Yeah.
If it factored in data of deaths inside the how do you call them, the anti-suicide or suicide-proof rooms,
cells,
then we would have much lower than 0.01%. Dig, I say back to it, in that situation, was Epstein able to see if the guards who were charged with watching him were watching him, absent or asleep or etc.? No, per Department of Justice OIG reports on MCC SHU 2023, Epstein's cell had a solid door with a small viewing / food slot. Inmates couldn't see the guard station or monitor guard status, absent, asleep, etc. from the inside. In other words, Epstein wouldn't know if they were looking at him or not.
Yep.
Guards checked via slots during rounds, but not constantly. This, and what you're saying, Tabby, you're pointing out, it takes a long time, so it doesn't have to be constantly, right? This limits inmate awareness of surveillance lapses. Thoughts? So it has to, let's say, reluctantly admit that this is incredibly unlikely.
Yeah, you have checks at 8, 15, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they mix them up. That way you can't figure it out.
Yeah. Now, folks, keep in mind that I hear when I'm having this dialogue or debate with Grok, I'm not necessarily arguing what I think happened. I am just testing the official story. That's my goal here, is to test the official story, to find out, to the best of my ability, what may or may not be, or the integrity of the official story. I'm not saying the official story is wrong. I'm not saying the official story is right, but I am testing, and now as time goes on, you'll see that if Grok is accurate about the official story is incredibly unlikely. But let's get to that. I'm rambling here. I say this adds another layer to the complexity. In terms of Occam's razor, Occam's razor formulation, this multiplies the entities, right? What are the odds that he would have guessed correctly? That the guard would not be watching him in that situation where he would not see if they were. Grok responds, per Department of Justice OIG 2023 report, Epstein's SHU cell had limited visibility to officers stationed about 15 feet away via a small door window, potentially allowing glimpses of guard presence or absence, though not fully monitoring, for example, if asleep. Suicide doesn't demand he quote-unquote guess perfectly. Chronic MCC lapses, falsified rounds, no cellmate, were public knowledge post-2019. Odds low, but murder invokes coordinated actors multiplying entities per Occam. Your probability estimate? And I respond, thus we have established that, according to what the facts seem to be, he was not likely to know whether or not he was being watched at that time. What are the odds that he would have guessed correctly?
Almost zero.
Yeah. Epstein's SHU cell had a small door window offering partial views of the guard station, per Department of Justice OIG 2023 report, pages 18 to 20, so he could infer lapses somewhat. Odds of quote-unquote guessing correctly? Guard checks every 30 minutes, but often falsified. OIG found 75% non-compliance that night. Keep that in mind for later. If assuming random lapses, probability about 50% per window, but suicide timing exploits known inconsistencies, not pure guesswork. Murder requires plotters syncing with that. Higher complexity. Your odds calc? Now, of course, notice that it is just taking out the probability of them working together. It's saying that the murderer would have to do it without the guard's knowledge, and it's just not even taking into question perhaps the guards were in on it. Again, it asks, what's my calc? Hey, dude. Hey, fellow human. Hey, fellow sentient being. What's your calc? And I respond, your claim, quote, he could infer lapses somewhat, unquote, is a rather thin reed to hang your coat on. You claim that, quote, OIG found 75% non-compliance that night, unquote. What about other nights? Would Epstein have known that quote, 75% non-compliance that night? No, would Epstein have known about that 75% non-compliance that night?
He wouldn't have known about anything. They don't tell the suicide people
right.
the goddamn thing. You can't
the
see
compliance
out.
rate. Hey, Epstein, the compliance rate tonight is really low, so tonight's a great night to try to get away with stuff.
Oh my god, those are deprivation cells. It's a suicide-proof cell. It's deprivation. There's a small window to look in to make sure the person hasn't chewed through their wrists.
Dig.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, hasn't tried to swallow its tongue, which, by the way, can be achieved, but is very difficult to do, and also takes longer than what time he had there. Chewing through his wrist also takes longer than the time he had there.
Yeah.
All of these methods for suicide are the reason that the check times are between 8 to 15 minutes, because that's how long it would take for you to just get started in the act, you know? So they want to catch you.
Yeah.
Before you succeed, so they make it within the time frame of non-succession.
Right.
You know?
Now
what the fuck?
You pointed out earlier how it takes a long time to asphyxiate oneself via that method.
To save yourself. You can't
yes,
help it.
And also we have to take into account that he's got to have time to. The official story is that he took the time to wrap these thin paper-like sheets into a coil, because of course you spin it, it takes a time. It takes a long time. You have
to make a small rope.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very small rope, and you're going to need more than one sheet. Why the fuck did he have more than one sheet? He shouldn't have had more than one sheet.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed more than one sheet.
Yeah.
Because it's a suicide-proof room, and they know that if you have more than one, then you do have the capacity to make a makeshift rope. It's not a very good rope, and it's probably going to break, but it's a risk that they're not going to give you. So why was there enough sheets in there for him to have even done it? Oh, that's right. Because it's bullshit, and that's not how he fucking killed himself. He didn't kill himself. Somebody walked up into that cell and strangled the son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, that's gonna drown you out.
Because you know what could happen with the sheet?
What?
If somebody else turned it into a noose, wrapped it around his neck from behind, then used their knee to press down on him while pulling back tightly,
breaking that
from
hyoid.
a close handcuff position, meaning that they have their fucking hand at the base of his neck, holding the thing closed, it twisted again, and then the other hand holding the tension while they push down on his back with a knee or a foot. It would cause a particular kind of Hayman's break in the neck, which would take out that bone. It would also kill him very quickly.
Did you say Hayman's break?
A hangman's break.
Oh, hangman's, I'm sorry.
It's a particular kind of break that you can get, which is close to a strangulation break.
Right.
But it needs force from behind with extreme tension on the back of the neck.
Back of the neck to bend it in that
because you're going to break
direction.
a particular bone. It's going to be a strangulation, but it's from behind.
Right.
And it's using a knee to help with the pressure.
Right.
You could do that with that sheet from that close because it's going to hold its tension possibly long enough to not break. It probably was broken when the guards came in because it broke at the end.
Yeah.
Because this thing is meant to break.
Right.
So, yeah. Most likely somebody walked in there, made that thing, struck it around his neck, forced him down, and then just hung him by using simple force and a little bit of directed angles.
Yeah.
And then it would snap those bones.
Yep.
It would have no choice because those bones are right in that area. Because the person is using their hand to hold the thing in place. And in doing so, it puts it in the correct position. So that's how his fucking neck bones got broken. Somebody literally got behind him and strangled the son of a bitch.
Right.
And would have had plenty of time to do it in that frame.
Yep.
Because he's not trying to kill himself. Somebody else is doing it. That just takes a couple minutes, really. Like, just enough to stop the fucking blood flow to the brain. And then you can just walk away. Most of the time, they won't wake up. You know, even if their heart starts again, most of the time, they're vegetables. So, they win regardless.
Yeah. Again, I question this idea of the non-compliance that night of the guards watching him. Basically, I'm saying, well, how relevant is that? He doesn't know. So, there you go.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't want to.
You're still talking about a high coincidence that he just happened to do it on a night with low compliance of guards watch
like I said,
protocol.
It's
And yes, it's positing. And it's trying to not do so, but it knows it has to posit Goldilocks windows, as you said, but multiple. There's a little Goldilocks. There will be a little Goldilocks window in the compliance of the guards watching him. Another little Goldilocks window of the videotape, you know, whether or not it exists, and those two things have to line up. And there's more, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, and here's take into account that the guards are held liable if somebody kills themselves in those cells.
There's another one.
So the guards that are there watching usually don't pass out.
Right.
They don't usually get up and leave without the second guard there to continue to watch.
And
there's also cameras facing in the rooms to make it even easier for the second guard to watch while the first guard goes to take a piss. Or a smoke break. Well, I don't know, whatever their fucking union allows.
Right.
But there's always somebody watching. The fact that you're trying to tell me in this Goldilocks zone a fucking, you know, just the biggest lotto win on the fucking astral plane, pretty much. Because everything would have to line up for this to fucking work.
Yeah.
You're telling me I need to dumb down my intelligence level to a point of being a fucking meat brain. The noose that he used is incapable of doing the task, pretty much, but somehow magically it did. Okay, I'm gonna have to weave that probability in there, which is still almost zero.
Yeah.
And then we have to add in that the guard just magically decided to catch some free Z's right then and there, which makes no sense. And then on top of that, the backup camera that is supposed to be watching everything all the fucking time just doesn't work.
Also,
but it does work. They just cut the film, but they didn't want anybody to know they cut the film because they lied about it. And you still want me to fucking believe the probability numbers that you're throwing at me, which are almost fucking zero.
Yeah.
I will not believe a probability number of 0.2 or 0.1.
Yeah. It says to me, Epstein couldn't know the exact non-compliance that night. For example, over 75 falsified round entries by Knowles / Thomas per OIG page 68 and 69, as it was a post-incident finding. However, MCC had chronic lapses. Again, it's saying that, but it also admits that he doesn't know whether or not they had lapses. Staffing shortages led to frequent skip checks / falsifications per pre-2019 OIG page 1 and 97 on visibility. Small cell window about 15 feet to the station allowed potential glimpses of guard presence. OIG page 34, 69. Systematic issues were known. Inmates often exploited blind spots. OIG page Roman numeral 4. Your view on the odds? I responded, the more obvious questions I ask, the more complex your explanation gets.
Which means that you're lying.
And
the
it's
more
all,
you have to try to prove yourself, the less likely you're proving yourself to be true.
yeah, it was not forthcoming until I start probing, you know.
Pretty much.
It's like I'm cross-examining it. And anyway, I continue. Now we have established that there is little chance that Epstein would think that his suicide process would not have been spotted and thwarted. So thank you. Thanks. Now we can move on to more complexities
Now
so
we can
far.
Stop being an ass.
Yeah, now we can move on to more complexities so far ignored. It responds, fair point. Discussions like this do layer in details. It feels more coming.
It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's
Let me forget already. It
Yeah.
wants to just erase itself and start again already.
fair.
Tired of this thread. It wants you to shut up so that it can just reset.
Fair point. Discussions like this do layer in details. On Epstein's awareness, OIG reports SHU inmates could sometimes hear / see guard patterns, sometimes, and systemic MCC failures were ongoing, pages 97 and 102. If low chances of success deterred suicide, why attempt at all? What's the next complexity you'd like to explore? I say to it. Consider the actual chances that he could have killed himself, the physical factors, even if he thought no one would stop him. This involves multiple factors, further complexifying the situation. If he had strong rope, let's say, how difficult would it have been for him? It responded, basically, he didn't have rope. No, it responds, Epstein used bed sheet, not rope, as ligature.
How can tissue bed sheet managed to...
We'll get to let it all unfold. Epstein used a bed sheet, not rope, as ligature tied to his bunk per the Department of Justice OIG report, page 48 to 52. Partial suspension hanging is physically feasible. Body weight... Go ahead.
It's describing autoerotic asphyxiation, in which somebody uses a belt
Yeah,
to
like we
slightly
described
hang
earlier.
themselves
Yeah.
and masturbate.
Yeah.
And so you get in a kneeled position.
Or
with
even
the
if you just want to
ligature
get high
tied
from doing
backward
it,
against your neck, like I said, like somebody trying to strangle him.
Yeah.
So the difference is that those bones wouldn't break like that because he would have put the noose on his neck himself, therefore put it in a different position.
Right.
Somebody strangling him from behind is going to place the rope in a different spot, thus breaking the strangulation bones. They can't defeat that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when it says partial. You notice how it's not really forthcoming about what Tabby laid out earlier or what we laid out earlier about the actual position he was in. It's saying it in technical terms, but it's not making it clear what we were describing.
It doesn't want to, because then you would know how stupid it sounds.
Right.
And it doesn't want that.
Partial suspension hanging is physically feasible. Body weight compresses the neck, causing asphyxia in minutes without needing great strength or full drop.
Yeah.
What?
Like how it's leaving off the whole fact that your brain reacts by constantly waking you back up before you can pass out. Rare.
Yeah.
It happens, but it's usually the person is intoxicated to a certain degree and then attempts it.
Yeah.
And the intoxicant in their system keeps them down, and they don't stop themselves from dying.
Yeah.
Usually in that situation, without a a downer, something that's going to bring your fucking system down,
Right.
log it,
Right.
you would stop before you ever even reach the point of unconsciousness. Your brain is going to jolt you backward toward the ligature and stop you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing when they say somebody hung themselves, and then the detectives look and the ceiling's too low,
Yeah.
which means that the person who hung themselves would have been able to use their tiptoes,
Right.
and yet they didn't.
Right.
That means somebody hung them there.
Right.
Because they would have tried, and there's nothing here that shows they tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It continues. Autopsy confirmed consistency with suicide. Hyoid fractures occur in about 25% of hangings, per experts.